The hottest days of summer on average coming up the next couple of weeks, and it's going to feel like that the next couple of days. In a very unusual way, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more free-form style. I don't have as much time tonight to make a full video. I just got done editing the PNW Weather 101 episode that's on my channel now if you want to learn about severe thunderstorm climatology. This heat wave is partially being caused by X tropical storm or post-tropical storm Elida, depending on which term you want to use. Just so you know, you cannot say, hey, I survived a tropical storm. No, you cannot. This storm track will move up towards the Northern California coast before this dissipates into a trough that will bring more humid conditions into our area. And this is overlapping a weaker ridge overall. So looking at some of the models for timing, and today it's looking like temperatures will be in the mid to upper 90s. This is the European model. For simplicity, I'm just going to stick with the Euro for most of the viewing with the exception of one where I'll go over chances of thunderstorms. The hot day will be on Wednesday. Temperatures do look like it's going to creep into the upper 90s, maybe even the lower hundreds if you take the model at face value. However, it does look like this day will see some higher smoke, so that could keep temperatures down a couple of degrees. One thing to note is that with these forecast models, temperatures do tend to run a couple of degrees too cold in a full sun setup, but when you get smoke involved or other clouds, it tends to be a little bit more accurate. The heat does start to subside on Thursday. This model suggesting in the mid 80s. I've seen other models suggest we don't get out the upper 70s on Thursday. We will see when we get closer to that. But the big story won't necessarily be the heat because it's hot, but we see upper 90s almost every summer. It's the humidity. This is the dew point at Tuesday morning. It does give a little bit of relief for Portland proper as we go in the evening hours, less of a relief as you go further south in the Willamette Valley. 55 and higher is not common for Portland during heat waves. And then as we go into the overnight hours, the dew point shoots up into the mid 60s in some areas, even the upper 60s. He's in the case of Western Washington County, taking this model at face value. And that's as the tropical system, or sorry, post-tropical system moves closer to our area. Wednesday looks to be another pretty humid day to start with dew points in the 60s. You do get some relief going into the evening hours for Portland proper. You don't get as much relief for the Willamette Valley. Dew points near 60 there. Portland, I don't expect much easterly influence, but you get just enough blocking from southerly winds via the Chehalem Mountains that will lower your dew point a little bit. Dew points do shoot up overnight. I've seen some models show dew points in the upper 60s. I've seen one suggest 70, but I think that's a little aggressive. As we go into Thursday morning, dew points will remain high overnight. These high dew points is going to bring some thunderstorm fuel, also known as CAPE. So as we go into Wednesday, CAPE values rise into the 2 to 500 range, depending on where you're at on Wednesday evening. Really, yeah, I wouldn't pay attention to the exact numbers as that's subject to change. Just pay attention to the general range. I know all of you in the Midwest are laughing at us. 2 to 500 is actually pretty high for the Pacific Northwest. They do peak out in the late overnight hours on Wednesday into early Thursday morning, with some places pushing 1,000 when you take this model at face value. I did take a look at where this instability is, and it does look like it is elevated. It is not going to be surface instability. It doesn't matter for thunderstorms. The thunderstorms are going to happen if there is a trigger and if cells develop. We do have that post-tropical system moving up, so there is a chance for that to happen as we go into Thursday morning. But once we pass 8 o'clock, that instability really moves up closer towards the Seattle area, where those folks will be getting their show in the early afternoon hours. This could be a repeat of what happened last Thursday. The last thing that I will show is the HRRR model, only the last portion on Wednesday, hour by hour. Cells do start to fire up during the early afternoon, evening hours, primarily over the Cascades and the Coast Range. I do think that this is aggressive on Wednesday evening, but does show that there is at least some storm potential. I think Thursday morning has the better shot at us seeing things in the valley. This model only goes out to 48 hours, so we will see what it looks like tomorrow. I do have a 7-day forecast prepared, so I will jump into that. Let's get this organized properly since I got this together in about 20 minutes in total. So for the South Valley, I am anticipating high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. The feels like temperature will be feeling like you are in Portland despite the 2 degrees lower temperatures on Tuesday and Wednesday. Spoiler for the Portland forecast. Temperatures do drop Thursday and stay slightly below average until we get to early next week. Low temperatures will also be around seasonal long-term averages. Chance of thunder 20% right now for any given location. For Portland, I do think the chance of thunder is a little higher. The Euro model was showing a cell form over Portland Thursday morning. There is some other models to support that, including if I extrapolate the HRRR model, I believe it would support it. I don't know 100% and for sure. So I am putting a higher thunderstorm chance. You might notice the rain chance is below the thunderstorm chance, which is not usual for my forecasts. And that's because I think there is a risk that these thunderstorms will not produce any rain. That's not going to be good for our fires. So high temperatures again, 96, 99. Fun fact about that 99-degree temperature. Yeah, it is technically daily record high, but it is low-hanging fruit. That day has the last remaining 90-degree high temperature between July 10th and the end of the month. The only one in between there and the 17th of August, if this does hit 100, would be August 1st. So pretty rare territory to be seeing a 90s as a record high temperature. Temperatures again do cool back to near average from Thursday on out. One thing I will note is that it is not uncommon for a marine push to happen after thunderstorms roll through. And as a result, high temperatures might be lower than the 85 I am currently forecasting. So that is subject to change. I'm going to have a more detailed video out tomorrow night on that. Until then, stay safe out there and take care.